Welcome to The Sober Unicorn. We are a gay hosted, all inclusive podcast about sobriety and addiction recovery for the LGBT plus community and all of our allies. I am your host, Holden, and thank you for joining us today. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Sober Unicorn. It's me, Holden, host, as always. Today, we're being joined by a very special guest. We've been friends on Facebook, I would say, probably a year or more. It's been a little bit. And I've seen him in and out of recovery, and kind of more recently have I noticed him very publicly speaking about recovery, going on live all the time, sharing his journey and being very vocal about it. So I thought this was probably the perfect time to bring him on, share his experience and kind of what he does on a day-to-day basis to stay sober. Everybody, of course, if you like the Sober Unicorn and you like what we do here, make sure to just drop a comment. You could always just share. Please leave a rating. I'm not asking you for money. I'm just asking you to click a couple buttons and just share and try to get this to more people that they could be hearing it in case they're struggling. So, welcome, Adonis. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. I'm excited.
Good. Is Adonis your real name? Like,
Yeah, it's actually my middle name. My first
okay,
name is Ariel.
okay.
People
Adonis is a
pronounce it
super strong
Ariel.
name.
Yeah, so Ariel Adonis is my first two names.
Okay, and so I'm assuming you go by Adonis.
Yeah, I go by Adonis because I mean, growing up in a small town, I'm from Texas, so it's a conservative state. I'm in a small town. I'm a black man. And my name is Ariel. That does not come over very well. So school was kind of tough. And even in adulthood, some people still kind of trip up on it. Most people, if they have that name in this area, you are female. So roll call in school is always Ariel, is she here? And then I've never had a deep voice. So it just made it 10 times harder. So I was just
You're
like,
the second Ariel male that I've met,
yeah.
and it just so happens the other Ariel is also a black man.
Oh, that's cool. I've never that yeah. Wow, that's cool. I've only I've only met people that are like in Europe or like South America with that name and they just, they pronounce it audio. And over there, like a lot of guys, like that's like a thing for them, audio. But over here it's like, no, you're the mermaid. There's nothing exotic, it's not hot, it's not sexy, it's the Little Mermaid.
But I mean, the Little Mermaid's amazing.
I love Little Mermaid, but again, putting those things together is not fun.
Well, and Adonis was so funny. The moment I hear that name, I think of the show. Oh no, not a show. It's a movie called The Adonis Factor. It's a
Oh,
documentary about the gay culture and why there's so much importance put on body image within the gay
oh,
culture. I think, oh my God, years ago, it was on like logotv.com. I don't even know if logotv.com still exists.
oh my gosh, I remember
Yeah, because RuPaul, she already left Logo. She's like, I'm too good for Logo now. So
that.
anywho, but so kind of like let's begin, kind of start with like your journey on um
Mhm.
what brought you into recovery, like kind of what was life like beforehand.
Wow. So to know that I needed to be in recovery is to know when I got started drinking. Drinking is my choice of drug. I never really got into anything else because I grew up in the 90s and that was like the huge drug crack epidemic. And so I was really scared. I was like, I'm gonna be that one person. If I do, like my life is over. So I just never tried. I was very scared. I don't like needles, so I can never do anything else with that. But drinking just became very fun for me socially. It was accepted, family and friends, and it was just, kind of thing that you do. Especially in high school, my cult, like the culture that I grew up with at that point in time, we didn't have a lot of social media, but VH1 and MTV, like it was party, Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, and Jersey Shore, and everybody was getting drunk, like so that was just a thing, and so I did it on the weekends, never thinking that it would turn into something more. And then I started to use it as a coping mechanism all throughout my 20s. I went through some pretty rough times in my 20s. And then that's when it really truly turned dark towards the end of my 20s, beginning of my 30s. I was like, I got a problem. This is bad for me. It's ruining my life. It's ruined friendships. It's ruined relationships. I'm not excelling in my career, physical illness, just can't get it together. And this must be the number one thing. Like, this is the one common denominator that is surrounded by all of these troubles. So, I was living in Austin at the time and found out about a group that actually had nothing to do with alcohol or sobriety. It was for boundaries. And I kind of felt like I'm just kind of living on the edge. Like, I ain't got no boundaries. Whatever goes, goes. So, now I work with people in sales, so I wanted to know, like, maybe I can help myself with this class. And the class was over and I was like, wait, what do we do next? Like, I need help. And so they were like, well, this is kind of like a branch from a group called Celebrate Recovery. Immediately I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to that. That's for people who got problems. I don't have problems like that. Like, that's for them. I just need you to help me over here. Well, a friend of mine, she was like, I just think you should come because it's for a lot of different reasons. Anyway, long story short, I found another friend who I felt was further in the hole than I was. I told them about it, suggested that they should go, and I would support them. And that's why I went. Needless to say, they never showed up for another meeting. I kept coming back because secretly I knew that it was for me. It was very scary, but it was also very eye opening. And I learned a lot about myself within those first 6 months. Um, and I knew that was the first time that I experienced that there could be actual hope. At that point, I didn't think that I would ever stop drinking. At that point, I thought that this was just going to be who I was. I started to accept it. A lot of people on a particular side of my family, like, that's just what they do. And I was like, that's just going to be me. And maybe I don't have to be extreme, but if I could just kind of get some help to tailor it, kind of excel in life, I'd be all right. No, delusion. So fast forwarding to now, this was about 5 years ago. So of course, there's been many relapses, been many setbacks, but there's also been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of triumph. There's been a lot of self-discovery. There's been a lot of pruning. Like, my friendship circle is totally different now. My life is totally different now. I moved back home to my small town, and it really carved out a new pathway for my life. I hadn't lived alone in almost 8 years, and I didn't realize that. Yeah. Like, I either was in a relationship or had a roommate because I couldn't get my life together. And so, this month coming up will be one full year that I've been here and I'm making it, all bills paid. I'm doing good, that I know that sounds like, oh, what? That's basic. But when you are in addiction, that is not basic. Like, that's not your life. That's a huge thing. So anyway, that's where I'm at now. And that's why I speak so loudly about it now, because I know that I hid in plain sight for so many years and I needed help and no one actually knew.
Yeah. Well, and so let's kind of backtrack just a little bit. And so you mentioned Celebrate Recovery. So, of course, I know what that is, but many people don't. So, for anybody that's never heard of Celebrate Recovery, what exactly is that?
Celebrate Recovery is an organization that is sort of like AA, but it is very Christ centered. It's not religious. Disclaimer, I grew up in church. Like, I was born into church. Again, small town, from the South. So you can already, that backwoods religion is, my roots. So I knew all of that, but I never felt what I felt at Celebrate Recovery. Celebrate Recovery is an organization that it doesn't have like pastors and things like that. There are pastors a part of it, but they are just facilitators. It's open. There are so many different types of people in CR. I met more people in CR that I was like, you here? Than I have in any bar, any type of situation, any party. I'm like, how they let you in? But that's the thing. Anybody can be there, and it's so freeing. At Celebrate Recovery, I learned that I could be myself. At Celebrate Recovery, I was able to take the mask off. I was able to be vulnerable. I didn't have to come in and be great. I didn't have to come in and be strong. I could come in weak. I could come in vulnerable. I could come in struggling. I could show up to a meeting drunk if I needed to. And I had that freedom. I had never experienced that in church or religion. So it is a group that has the same core values as an AA meeting or organization, the 12-step program, all the tools, but it is very Christ centered, very biblical based. So a lot of times people say, in AA, your higher power, where in Celebrate Recovery, they do believe that your higher power is Jesus, is God. So um, that's what that is. And it's worked for me. It's not for everybody, but it's worked for me.
No, of course, and that's I mean, I working in treatment, when I speak with a lot of clients, I'm like, "Oh, are you going to meetings?" And they're like, "Well, no, like, I'm more into church." That's when I immediately lead them into Celebrate Recovery, because not everybody's into the God aspect, and that's when you go into the spiritual side of things, which is like the AANA type of thing. And then there's people that are Christ based that go into an AA meeting and they're like, this motherfucker's higher power is the ocean. That's some bullshit. And so
Yeah, yeah.
that's when Celebrate Recovery comes into play, because everybody needs something to depend on. And
Sure.
so it's kind of like there's multiple things. And that's kind of why I've enveloped this podcast, is to show that there's so many different ways to recover. And I've never actually had anybody on here from Celebrate Recovery,
Oh, awesome.
which is a good thing. And so that'll kind of lead into my next segue of being a gay man,
Mm,
um, being very faith based. Did
mm.
you grow up with religious trauma, or like, how do you get past the quote unquote stigma of Christianity around being gay?
Oh, Lord. I mean, this is a deep, like, that has many, 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 many layers to it. And I would love to, like, really, like, go deeper into that. I will say this for the sake of time. I'm not sure if I have moved past it. It still happens. But what I learned was that I needed to find I need to find my own way. And let me go back and say, you said, was there ever any religious trauma or anything like that? Oh God, yes. Like some of the most hurt that I've ever experienced were people in the church, in the religion. And I think that a lot of times that's where people get it mixed up and get it switched, is because they're like, oh, you believe in that, those people, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, that may be, but if you really get into the following and the study from what I have found and what from I have read, that those are two totally different things. And to have a religion and to kind of be cultish and very ritualistic is really not having a relationship with Christ. It's really not you trying to be, your best person. And that's what I found out. And so I have just learned to sometimes rise above, and then also, just not really get so close with the people. I don't put a lot of faith in people, even the pastors. I don't put nothing past nobody, because we can all, hey, all right, we can all fall short. So I don't put anything past anybody. I think that sometimes when I do, go to service, or when I do attend like a Bible study or whatever, if the person in the front of the room is facilitating something and delivering a message, I really try to delete that person and just hear the message and then go back, read the Bible for myself or do my own studies, but never, never, never putting so much faith or emphasis on the body of people that are there, because we're all broken. We all have triggers, hurts, habits, hangups. Ain't nobody in this building perfect. So stop. Even the person who's delivering the message, you got a lot of junk too. So stop. And that kind of gave me confidence to say, well, you can say this about me. I can say 5,000 things about you. I had to learn the scriptures, because a lot of times people will pick and pull and throw things at you. But if you don't do your work and if you don't do your homework, you can take that and really just wear it. And I did for a very long time. And I turned, my back towards the whole church and I walked away for a very long time, but I never walked away from God. And it wasn't until I got into my own personal studies, I'm just like, okay, they're talking about this one thing, but do y'all know in that same passage, it's like 18 other sins and diabolical things, and it ain't got nothing to do with homosexuals. It's all you heteros and what y'all be up to. So, yeah. So that gave me a lot of confidence to say, whatever. And then at the end of the day, we all on planet Earth. Nobody remembers anything before you were born, and we're never going to know what happens after we die. So, what's the point of me getting mad and arguing with somebody when you don't even know what's really going to happen? We just all hoping for the best.
Yeah. I mean, that's where faith comes in. I feel like no
Right.
matter what your faith is and higher power, that has been a constant struggle for me throughout my
Yeah.
entire time in recovery because of religious trauma. I hope that one day I can overcome it because I remember when I did have a relationship with God, I was very happy. I was very
Yeah.
fulfilled.
Yeah.
But the people of the
Oh God.
church is what turned me away, and it's been a struggle trying to, of course, find your way back. And who knows if I ever will. But again, that's why there's
Let me spill tea real quick because I just feel like this is that type of podcast, and I just want to be open, real, and transparent with you. Let me tell you what really set me off. What really set me off, I was 19. We were at some sort of revival type of thing. I came into the church, and everyone's. I mean, it's like mid-service, so there's no reason for me to be pointed out at all. Well, one of the ministers pinpointed me and got me out of my pew into the aisle, did the whole hand on the head and everything. I mean, this dude took me down to the ground. And then his wife comes with her hand on my back. I mean, they're saying things to me about homosexuality and you need to release this and da 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 da, be free. I mean, this is embarrassing. Everyone can see this is happening. And when you're in a small town and you're the only one in the church, you know what I'm saying? So everybody like that was embarrassing. I got up, I pushed him, I flicked him off in church, and that was the mile marker for me. And I was like, y'all will never have this, opportunity again. Years later, not even a long time. That was probably 2007. I want to say when I moved to Houston, 2009. So it had to be like, yeah, oh 09, oh 10. I'm in the club. I'm doing my thing. Guess who I see in the club with me? The same pastor who wrestled me down to the ground. He was working for a jail facility or whatever. He was like the whatever they're called, the
correctional
guard.
officer.
Yeah. In whole relationships with the male inmate. Whole relationship with the male inmates. The same minister who's in the pulpit who wrestled me down in church for me and my homosexuality was in the club and wanted to like talk to me and like I'm like, dude, I don't like you. So him and his wife, got divorced and his kids are like, forever traumatized by it. And it was at that moment that I was just like, it does not nothing, no title, no religion, no church, none of that can actually separate you from the love of God. Nothing can separate you from him. And then number two, you never know who is who, and you got to be true to yourself. And what I learned in that moment was he was fighting something on the inside of himself, and that's why he targeted me. And so that kind of rolled into I got to figure this out for myself, and that's kind of how I can combat some of that trauma and just kind of overlook and because at this point, just to kind of because I you said some things, I'm just like just for me, I realized that hurt people,
Hmm.
and can't nobody save me or can nobody condemn me. So people are people. And that kind of gives me the strength to say, I'm gonna stand here in this church right alongside you. And if you really coming at me like that, that lets me know where you are spiritually. And you need some prayer because you cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. We're supposed
I
to be here for the same reason, right? Why are you fighting me? You want my number? Why are you looking at me like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
yeah.
know. But
I thought you were gonna say you found him on Grinder. I was gonna be like, oh my god.
I mean, might as well.
Yeah.
I
Might have,
well, I've been in some services and the app will go off like 0 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. That don't surprise me. Why would that surprise me?
yeah.
One out of every four people are gay. So if I'm
Is
in a
it that
room
much
full of
now?
yeah, if I'm in a room full of 400 people, you probably sitting on my row. You probably
Yeah.
sitting on my row. So religious people, I got the dukes up for them. I'm ready. Like they yeah. Mm-mm.
So we'll we'll move away from religion.
Sorry, I told you. I told you it would be a whole other.
No, it's totally okay. Um,
Bring me back for that one.
so you have made kind of I wouldn't say brand, but you made it very known on your social media that you are in recovery. You live very out loud. You're screaming it from the rooftops. Um, so why is that?
Because I knew that I needed, for one, I needed public accountability. Like, I needed people to know, like, hey, I am really fighting. And I feel like if I put this out and I put my image out and I tell you what's going on and I'm telling you, these are the ways that it's been helping me, not only is it helping me, but what I quickly found, like my first, I think it was like 7 day or 14-day post, I had like four people in my inbox. And I was like, shoot, I didn't know you drank. You you struggling. Why you need the app? And so what I found was like, okay, if I do it this way, not only will it help me, but I'm also going to be helping others. And that is my true, true, true desire and passion, is to help other people elevate. HOPE. That's what I want to do. I want to deliver and sell hope, because when a person has hope, they can make it. It doesn't matter what they're going through. It doesn't matter how dark it is. It doesn't matter, if they don't understand how they're going to get through. As long as you have even the slightest glimmer of hope, you got something. And so for me, just kind of like raising my banner and, making it who I am, it also crashes um all of the things that I've hidden behind sales, um even, just doing things that I believe that people want to see me do, pretending that everything is great and being this positive, bubbly person when I'm dying on the inside. You know what I mean? Like I post this quote with a picture and I don't even believe it. Like I'm listening to depressing music, taking 5 shots and responding back to the positive quote that I just did, 2 hours ago. And I'm not even really feeling like that. Like I'm over here drowning. And so I wanted to live in my truth. I was so tired of living in what was truly, honestly, a lie, the state of delusion, to where I had to just let it out.
Of course, I mean, recovering, Christ, can't even get my words together today. Recovering out loud, I think, is insanely important for people because number one, as you said, public accountability.
Mhm.
There's people actually recently, a friend of mine was very vocal about recovery, and then like 2, 3 days passed, not a single post. And I'm
Mhm.
like, uh-oh, what's going on? And so you message these people, and you're like, hey, like, are you good? I haven't seen you posting. And next thing you know, they're on their way in a treatment and they relapsed. And so having that accountability as well as people being in your inbox. There is so many people out there struggling that just want to know
Yes.
that somebody shares that experience. And you talk about selling hope and that's what you're trying to do. I am not gonna go listen to somebody that had a silver fucking spoon in their mouth when they were born, a little nepo baby that's like, "Ooh, let me tell you how good life is." Nah, I want to hear from the person that was fucking homeless, sucking dick for a rocket crack in the alley. That trust me, we've done it.
Hey.
And well, not I may have, but that that turns their life around because then that person can actually truly understand what it is like to struggle. Um,
Facts.
and when they are selling hope, they're actually selling something that like they know is possible. Like people,
Right.
there's so many public speakers out there that don't even know what it's fucking like to struggle. Yeah, I mean, we could say that even the rich struggle, but we talking about some real struggle, not some
Yeah.
oh I got to pay a $2 million tax bill. We talking about the struggle of where your food's going to come from, where your head is
Yeah.
going to lay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and who's
Yeah.
going to be able to pay a pill that you need to live.
Yeah.
So, um, and you go and which is thank you, of course, for your service for doing that because um, that's kind of one reason I've also gone very public with my recovery is because people used to know me, know the bullshit that I went through, and have read my book and everything like this, and they see where I am today, and it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
Um, so of course, living out loud with your recovery, that hasn't came with no short that has came with shortfalls along the way
Yeah.
with going out. So when you have gone out and relapsed and came back, like what brings you back every time and what kind of took you out as well?
Whew, you said a lot there. What what takes and has taken me out is um honestly replaying moments that in my mind I know now are delusion and lies. My thing is party, fun, you know, going out at night. And then it turned into day drinking became a huge thing for me over the past like maybe about probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Um Day drinking, that was like a thing. Cause I used to wait. I'm like, man, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock. Can't start now. Start till like 9, be done by 2. Okay, it's perfect. No, 11 o'clock, 10:45, 9:30 with breakfast. Take a shot, cook some eggs, and then it's just like shoo. And so for me, what would take me out would be glamorizing that this is fun. Everyone around me is having fun. You know, I look great when I do this. I feel great when I do this. I can say anything, I can be anybody. But when I've seen some playbacks of some videos and I go back and look at these selfies that I've taken, I'm like, Lord, okay, I ain't never gonna drink again. I swear. Because what is that? And so what what has also taken me is proximity. I struggled with saying no to friends, and I had developed a core friendship of many people over several years. Like we were tight, but I can't be around y'all, even if you're not drinking. And they would be like, no, 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 like we love you, like we want this for you. Like, how can I support you? I'm like, you can't. I look at you and I want 5 shots. You don't even have to drink. Just the fact that you're in my face, my brain is telling me, that's my boy. Let's go. We about to go. We about to hell have fun. Let's do it. I can't be around you. That was also hard. Something else that would take me out is being in denial about the emotions that I have felt in the past and ruminating on things and replaying these things. And what's the quickest way to not deal with it or to just kind of take some of the ease off? Okay, I'll just go have a drink, just be a beer tonight, nothing crazy. Beer, 2 beers, 3 beers. Where's the bar? Shots, 5 shots. Okay, drinks on me. Now we're going to the second bar. Now we woke up and it's like 4 days later. I'm like, how did I get here? Oh my God. Um, and so what I have done now is I've had to have some very hard conversations with friendships and acquaintances, and that was really tough. That was really tough, but it was necessary. I have also learned to play the whole night out because I've had DWIs and I've been to jails. So I play those things out. I've been in car accidents. I'm like, okay, this could be the night. This could be the one night that takes you out. This could be the very night that you don't make it. This could be the very night that da 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 da. Or you could really go too hard tonight. You could poison yourself with alcohol. Like, I don't know. Like, do you want to do that? Or do you want to wake up tomorrow just grateful? Do you want to wake up tomorrow and go for a run and just like be able to post up tonight? Can't post tomorrow. Like, da, da, da. Like I do all these things in my mind and it's like, okay, it's really not even that serious. It's not even worth it's a lie. Like, stop. It's a lie. You don't want to do this. Like, this is bad. It's not good. That feeling that you feel is a lie. And then after I acknowledge it, call it what it is, I turn and go do something that is counter. Like I'll go outside, I'll go away. I found that eating really helps me out. When my belly is full, the desire to fill it with drinking, it doesn't disappear, but it goes way, 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 way down. But if I'm like if I'm not eating and then I get off work early and I got like a little itch to go do my thing, ooh, it's very hard to fight that. So I hope that kind of answered. some question, like your question.
No, it does. No, it really does. Yeah, I
Okay.
kind of threw a lot out at you at one time. Um, so on a day-to-day basis, of course, you do celebrate recovery, but that's not every minute of your day.
Mm-mm.
So what do you do for somebody that's maybe in early recovery that's like struggling with cravings? What do you do on a day-to-day basis throughout the day to make sure you don't go back to drinking?
Oh my gosh. I wish I could say that it was just like, these are my three things that I do every day, but sometimes it looks very different. But the constant thing that I have learned this go round is to really talk back to myself and talk to that desire. And really, I know it sounds crazy, like, oh, you talking to yourself, but yeah, you gotta check yourself because if you do not acknowledge that thought and acknowledge that craving and say, I feel this urge, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to have a double Jameson and Coke right now, but guess what? You have that, this is what's gonna happen. And I have to redirect and reprogram. Also, I have found being committed into several different types of groups of certain different types of accountability for certain different parts of the day has really helped me. Like I have an early morning workout group. Everybody in that workout group don't know that like I need y'all to hold me accountable because I don't want to drink tonight. They don't know that. I know that. And then I know that I'm competitive. And if I see all of them doing their workouts in the morning and I can't chime in, then that's gonna do something for me. Number two, I have a sponsor. I also have four people in an accountability group. And I've also told my mom, I have to check in with you. If you don't hear from me and I go silent, just automatically know that I have relapsed. So I've placed those barriers also. And then to fill up my time, I have really gotten into reading things that help me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm dyslexic with ADHD. So sometimes I have to read the same chapter about four times. I'm like, my brain hurt. I don't know. But it's kept me occupied. And that that is a challenge um on a day to day. It does never it has not gone away. Also, one thing that has really, really, really helped me at this point is I frame my day. Now, again, this is me. This is my own belief. This is what I believe in. If someone else believes a different way, maybe you can kind of take this system and apply it to whatever your beliefs is. But I wake up and I pray. I pray in the middle of the day. I pray about midday in the evening, and then I go to bed and I pray. So there's four different times of the day, and I don't mean like, okay, like I really hope I can make it. Like you good, okay, okay, okay. But it's like I put my phone to the side, I go somewhere, and I really say what's on my heart. And it's really more so just like a conversation. And it's just me hoping that what I believe in this God that I believe that I serve and the feeling that I feel, I really hope that it's real because I'm trusting you with the breath that I have right now. And that's the only thing that I got because I really want to go hard right now. But I'm not. And then then I walk away and I'm good. Lastly, I know it's a lot. Lastly, what I've been doing, honestly, is finding two or three people a day that I can tell. Did you know that I struggle with alcohol? Did you know that I've been trying to get sober for the past like 5, 10 years? Did you know that the reason why when you saw me working at the restaurant for 8 years of my life and I was walking back and forth to work is because I was actually drinking? It's not because I wasn't making money. It's not because I wasn't successful. It's not because I couldn't really pay my bills. Do you know the reason why I struggled for so long is because I was drinking? Like, did you know that about me? And most people did not know. And so what I find is like I'm talking about it every day. And every time that I talk about it, I feel like I have to now commit to this newfound way of living because now people gonna know, oh, if you don't get it together, it's not because life just threw cards at you. You just all drunk. And now we're just gonna write you off. And that's worse than anything for me because I feel like I do have a lot of value. I feel like I do have a lot to give. So the more that I talk about it and the more that I do things like this, that's like when you asked me, I was like, yes, God, like, oh my God, bring it on. Like, how can I put this out there and like let it be replayed? Like I absolutely love that. So I know that was a lot also. And it's like all of that in one day, but sometimes because I've drank for 9 hours a day, you know what I'm saying? Like I've
Yeah.
been drunk. So
And you
yeah,
can do all that in one day. People like go open your fucking phone and tell me how many hours you've spent on TikTok, Instagram,
that,
Facebook today.
that,
And so you can't tell me you ain't got time for something because yes, you may not be able to physically go to a meeting, but guess what? There's podcasts, there's YouTube videos, there's
yes,
so
yes,
many things that you
yes,
can obtain your recovery. So why don't you stop doom scrolling on TikTok and get your shit together
yeah,
and go do something for your recovery, even journaling. I mean, anything. And one
yeah,
thing you stated that is so important is having people around you to hold you accountable. I've stated so many times on all these
yeah.
episodes the fellowship of recovery. I'm not saying NAAACMA anything. The fellowship of recovery is
Mm-hmm.
unmatched. You can
Mm-hmm.
type in the word sober on Instagram, reach out to anybody that has hashtag that, and they'd be more than happy to talk to you, to share their
Yeah.
experience. So don't sit there and tell me
And
that, oh, I don't know anybody that's sober. I don't have nobody to talk to. Because guess what? There are thousands upon millions of people that would be
yeah,
more than happy to talk to you about whatever the hell you're struggling with.
yeah.
So before we come to a close on the episode, is there anything that you haven't shared that you would like to?
No, but I would like to share this. I would like to say thank you so much for even thinking of me and thank you for this opportunity. And secondly, thank you for choosing you. I I think the way that we initially found each other was through a sober group that I joined, and um, then we became friends on Facebook. And I've watched like how you've posted things, and you wrote your book and you put it like you really like that. It gave me courage to raise my banner, to see someone raise their banner, not just in one area, but I feel like you've done it just in who you are. Like, this is who I am. This is the way I am. If you don't like it, that's cool. If you like it, get with it. But I'm choosing me. And to me, that is so huge. And I I really just want nothing more than not only for you to continue on this path, but just to like grow in this entire sector, because we need more people with your type of visible representation. And I'm going to say that especially in the gay, LBT, ABCDEFG, elemental P, and everybody in between. I am not trying to leave nobody out. But I'm being for real. Like, it changed every other week. I can't keep up. But all of us, everybody in there, the queer people.
I think it's
Because
LGBTQIA2 plus now.
just say the gay alphabet. Just
The Alphabet
that's
Mafia.
there we go. That's us, okay? For us. Because I that was another thing. I ain't gonna say this, that was another thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm probably never gonna find a relationship. Everybody I know, they love to drink. Like, they some drunk people. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be so hard. Oh my God.
It
Until I
is
opened up
hard.
my eyes and I was like, oh, there's a community? I'm kind of curious. Wait, you don't drink? You sure? Okay, maybe. So it was a small glimmer of hope. So that's why I'm telling you, like, the way that you come across and the way that you represent yourself and the way that you wear all of your banners, all of your flags, and you present yourself fully embodied, that is extreme confidence. And it is very inspiring. It is very motivating. And I just applaud you. I really do. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. The thing is like you as well. The thing is, the way you've lived so out loud, especially with the lives, that is one thing I struggle with because it's so hard for me to talk to myself for the few minutes until people start joining and trying to have that conversation. And you have kind of like mastered the social media live stream game. And I see you on there, and like whether somebody's talking to you or not, you just having the best good old time possible And it's I'm like, where the hell? Because I mean, I'm even like on TikTok Shop approved to like sell my book, but I haven't done
Oh,
live streams because like how am I supposed to talk to myself until people join? Like and it's just something I have to get over. But yeah, and like from other authors, they're like, bro, I've sold like 700 books on TikTok in 2 months, and I'm like, I know I got to get on it. I do, but time and
child, let me write this book. I'm playing with my life because
you need to listen. People, everybody that's heard that I wrote a book, they're like, oh, I want to write mine. I'm like, do it, but don't do it at the same time. Do it because I think it's very important to share as many stories as we can. Um, but don't do it because, girl, baby, if you've ever tried to write a book, you be typing away for 3, 4 hours and you be like, ooh, I'm almost done. And then you're like 4 pages in.
yeah,
And you're just like, holy shit. You don't
yeah,
realize how much time it actually takes. But I mean, the thing is, if you have the time and the energy, the words, just do it because guess what? Like, just just get it done. Because I
yeah.
thought by the time I was done with my book, I had read it for like the fifth time, and I was like, "This is trash. I'm gonna throw it away." Like I was not even gonna
Yikes.
release it, and then somebody was like, "Bro, like it's yours, so that's why you're so critical about it." And
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten feedback from people that have read it, and they're like, "It's good," and to some it even triggered them. They had to like put it down,
Oh
which
wow.
is good because that means
Yeah,
it's something relatable.
yeah.
Um, but anywho, we that's a whole nother episode talking about my crazy bullshit. And I'm gonna actually I'm thinking about doing the next episode of the horror of it all. We talk heavily about recovery, but we don't touch on the actual like stupid shit we used to do in addiction. So I kind of want to do that to kind of like make people that listen realize like, hey, we're relatable. We've done some stupid shit too. I
Oh
don't
my
want
God.
people to realize it's not all sunshine, butterflies, rainbows, cupcakes, and blowjobs. It's hard sometimes, and we've done all some stupid stuff. Anyways, but thank you so much for coming on today. I greatly appreciate you taking your time out and coming on.
This has been a blast. I'm telling you, please invite me back. This is probably, I'm not gonna say I've been on a ton. I've done like I think like three other in like a 4 year time. I'm not famous or anything like that. But I will say this. This has probably been one of the most free, fun, real, authentic, and I'm really excited to like I'm like because I feel like there's so many more things that we could both talk about together.
I think
And I
so.
would love to do that. I would love to do that again. This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to our episode. If you want to be notified about every new episode release, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to check out our website at thesoberunicornpodcast.com. Don't forget, everybody, don't be normal, be a unicorn, but better yet, be a sober unicorn.